If you think you've heard the worst true crime stories in America, you haven't heard this one, because this isn't a murder. It's a slow death, a death delivered in pieces by a house full of people, including children. This is the story of Sylvia Likens, a 16-year-old girl who entered a house in Indiana and never walked out alive. And what happened inside that house is something the human mind isn't built to accept. Let's begin. Sylvia Likens grew up in a struggling family. Her parents traveled with a carnival to earn money. They couldn't take all their kids on every trip, so they sometimes left them with trusted families. It wasn't unusual. It wasn't dangerous. It was just survival. In the summer of 1965, Sylvia and her younger sister Jenny were placed in the home of a woman named Gertrude Baniszewski, a mother of 7, deeply religious on the outside, a respectable woman according to neighbors, someone you would trust without thinking twice. Her house was supposed to be safe, but behind that front door was a sickness that nobody in the neighborhood imagined, a darkness so heavy it would drown a child. At first, things seemed normal. Sylvia and Jenny tried to fit in, help around the house, follow the rules. But Gertrude was barely surviving. She was sick, she was broke, she was exhausted, and she had a dangerous temper. Then it happened, the moment that changed everything. Sylvia's parents' payment arrived late, a few dollars, just a delay. Nothing major, but inside that house, that delay was treated as a crime. Gertrude lined the girls up. Her voice dropped to a low, shaking growl. She said Sylvia needed to be punished for her parents' mistake. That was the first time Gertrude slapped her, but it wasn't the last. That slap opened a door inside Gertrude's mind that should have stayed locked forever. Soon the punishments turned into beatings. The beatings turned into torture, and the torture became a daily routine. Sylvia didn't understand why this was happening. She cried, she apologized, she begged. But in that house, her pain became entertainment. Gertrude had 7 kids, teenagers, neighbors, friends of neighbors, a whole crowd of young people who visited the house every day, and one by one they joined in. It was a nightmare, and Sylvia couldn't wake up. Gertrude began starving her, then beating her with belts and wooden paddles. She burned her skin with cigarettes. She forced Sylvia to strip in front of the kids and humiliated her. Sometimes she accused Sylvia of things she never did, just to fuel her own rage. The house became a twisted playground, a workshop of cruelty, and Sylvia was the project. Every scream made the walls tighter. Every day felt longer than the last. Jenny, Sylvia's younger sister, saw everything. She couldn't stop it. If she tried, she would be beaten too. Gertrude threatened her constantly. She lived in fear, guilt, and helplessness. Meanwhile, the kids around the neighborhood treated it like a game. They would come over after school. They would beat Sylvia, kick her, spit on her, burn her, laugh at her. Some of them were as young as 10. Nobody told an adult. Nobody called the police. Nobody saved her. Then Gertrude escalated things even more. She moved Sylvia to the basement, a dark, cold, dirty place with no bed, no light, and no safety. Sylvia became a prisoner in a house she never wanted to be in. Gertrude began branding Sylvia with hot needles. She carved words into her skin. Words Sylvia never said, never believed, never wanted. A final level of humiliation. Over time, Sylvia became weaker. She lost weight. She could barely stand. Her vision blurred. Her body stopped healing from the injuries. Her mind drifted in and out. But Gertrude didn't stop. She just got angrier. At this point, Sylvia knew she wasn't getting out alive. She told Jenny, "Don't cry. It's okay." But nothing about this was okay. One day, Sylvia tried to escape. She made it to the main floor. She made it to the front door. She could see the outside world, but before she could take that final step, she collapsed. Her body simply couldn't move. Gertrude dragged her back, furious. Sylvia still apologized, still said she didn't mean to cause trouble, still asked for forgiveness she never owed anyone. Her voice was barely a whisper. "I'm sorry, please stop." But nobody stopped. Gertrude ordered another round of beatings, another round of torture, another round of cruelty. Sylvia's body was shutting down, her skin pale, her eyes dull, her breathing slow. On her final night, she asked for water. Gertrude refused. She collapsed again, her head hitting the floor, and finally, her body gave out. On October 26, 1965, Sylvia Likens took her last breath. A 16-year-old girl destroyed by the very people who were supposed to protect her, abused by people too young to understand the horror they were participating in, left to die by a neighborhood that didn't ask questions. Her death was silent, but the aftermath was not. When Jenny saw her sister's body, she broke down completely. The guilt crushed her, even though she wasn't to blame. Somehow, in that moment of shock, Jenny found strength. She whispered to a police officer, "Get me out of here, and I'll tell you everything." Those words opened the floodgates. The police stormed the house. They saw the basement. They saw Sylvia's injuries. They saw the scars, the burns, the cuts. They saw the carved words. The officers were horrified. Some had never seen anything that brutal in their careers. Gertrude was arrested. Her kids were arrested. The neighbor kids were arrested. Anyone who laid a hand on Sylvia faced consequences. The trial became national news. People were shocked that something this evil had happened in a normal American home. The prosecutor called it the most sadistic crime in Indiana history. Others called it the worst case of child abuse the nation had ever seen. Gertrude received a life sentence. Her children received various punishments. Many of the minors involved were released early because of their age, but nothing brought Sylvia back. Nothing erased what she went through. During the trial, Jenny was asked what she wanted people to remember. Her answer was simple. She was my sister, and she didn't deserve any of this. Today, the case is studied by criminologists, psychologists, and law enforcement. It changed child protection laws. It changed the way authorities respond to signs of abuse. It changed what people look for in neighborhood homes. But most importantly, it left a permanent scar on American history. A reminder that evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a normal house, a normal mother, a normal neighborhood. Sylvia Likens trusted the wrong place, and the world failed her. Her story lives on not because of how she died, but because of how desperately she wanted to live, and how easily everyone else took that away. Her voice may have been silenced in that basement, but today you hear her story, and you don't forget it.